Absolutely insane numbers coming across the border. Millions and millions of illegal immigrants are just coming in here with no pushback from any sort of border security, from any sort of wall. It doesn't matter. They are coming in, they're being housed, they're being given money. And this is Biden's border crisis. How's it going, guys? Welcome to UnwokeThoughts. Today, of course, we're going to be talking about Biden's border crisis. You know, this is not just Biden's crisis. This has been a crisis that has been going on for quite some time now, and it is getting worse and worse. And now we are seeing astronomical numbers of illegal immigrants. They are just pouring. They're not just coming from Mexico anymore. They're coming from all over the world. And I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of videos. But this is an article by the Post Millennial. Biden's border crisis, 3.8 million migrants entered U.S. since Biden took office, over 221,456 secretly flown around the country. So this is the number of illegal immigrants or migrants who have entered the United States since Biden took office. And they are secretly flying these illegal immigrants around. You know, they're shielding them from prying eyes because they don't want people realizing how bad it's actually getting in this country. We are being invaded by millions of people that are coming in. This is not just something that is just benign. You know, this is not just something we're like, oh, you know, we need these people because, you know, we have a shortage of people who works, you know, certain types of jobs that Americans won't take. No, what is happening here is you have millions of people from other countries coming in, flooding cities. This is going to change the demographics of these cities. It's going to change the culture of the country as a whole whenever we reach a certain level, a certain number of illegal immigrants in the country. And this is not something that we just need to take lightly. We don't know where these people are coming from necessarily. We don't know what their culture is. We have a certain understanding of what American culture is. We have a certain understanding of what it means to be a civilized human being. And that's not a dig against these people. They might have grown up in a third world country. They might have, you know, they might not have had the type of upbringing that you or I or some other of the people in the United States have had. And that's not a dig at them, but when you have a astronomical number of people from other countries that are not as advanced as our country come in to the United States, this creates a lot of stress on the system, and this could potentially change the demographics and the culture in a negative way. So when we talk about these illegal immigrants coming in, it's not like people are saying like, listen, I hate people from other countries. I hate people from Mexico. That's not what they're saying. I hate people from Venezuela. No, that's not what they're saying. It's just that we have a culture in the United States that we must maintain because that's the reason why they want to come here to begin with. And that's the reason why they want to come here in the first place, because we have a nice country. We have built up a culture that is looked at by other countries and people from all over the world, and they envy that. They want to be here. That's the reason why they want to come here in the first place. So if we let millions of people come in, invade the United States, invade the country, what is that going to do to the culture? What is that going to do to the economy? What is that going to do to larger society? But let's read a little bit of this article. Under the Biden administration, the situation at the southern border has rapidly deteriorated, with an unprecedented number of migrants managing to enter the United States illegally. To make matters worse, it was recently revealed that the federal government has been secretly shuttling migrants via plane directly from foreign nations into cities across the U.S. in an attempt to ease the burden at southern land crossings. The influx of people has overwhelmed already struggling systems and led to increased tension between migrants and locals as they compete for shelter and resources. See, this is what I'm talking about. These migrants, there's so many of them, they are overwhelming these systems. There's millions. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, if you guys have seen this video, maybe on Instagram, but it's a video of Eric Adams, who is a Democrat, a very liberal Democrat, talking to some officials in his city. And he is saying he does not know how New York is going to take care of these illegal immigrants that are flooding into the city. He doesn't know. Like each each part of the city wants to send them to another part of the city. And it's really funny because predominantly New York is a Democrat city, or is a Democrat state. They're a blue state. This is what they voted for. And they're now realizing, wait a second, this is the results of what we voted for. What did they think was going to happen? I mean, everyone knows that the United States has been for a very long time. I don't know what it's going to be in the future, but it has been for a very long time the envy of every other nation and the desire for just about any person in the world to live here. What did they think was going to happen? Well, you just open the borders, you just allow anybody from across anywhere in the world just to come in here without going through some sort of procedure. Just allow them to cross the border and, hey, you're here. Hey, you're here. We're going to provide you housing. Hey, you're here. All you have to say is that you request asylum. You can go through, 4 or 5 different countries to get to the United States and not request asylum in those countries. But when you get to the United States, that's your goal. You request asylum in the United States. That's what's happening right now. We have people coming from all over the world to get to the United States. They come across the southern border. They have gone through multiple countries to get to the United States. And what do they do when they get to the United States? They have this script that they read off of saying that they are declaring asylum or requesting asylum in the United States without having to request asylum in any of these other countries. It's absolutely insane. But the influx of people has overwhelmed already struggling systems and led to increased tensions between migrants and locals as they compete for shelter and resources. According to the New York Post, 3.8, almost 4 million migrants have entered the United States since Biden took office in 2021. Okay, guys, it's 2023 right now. So you have almost 4 million migrants in just under, like 3 years? You have less than 3 years. You have almost 4 million immigrants in less than 3 years coming into the country. That's over a million a year. It's insane. 1.5 million of whom made the crossing illegally and have not been caught. The number of gotaways is triple the number recorded during the last 3 years of the Trump presidency. So Trump, in his presidency, he put some, safeguards in place to try to slow this absolutely gushing stream of illegal immigrants that are coming into the country. He put some safeguards. It can't just be a free-for-all, but Biden's administration apparently believes it can be a free-for-all, and that somehow sustainable? How is that sustainable? Fiscal year 2023 is set to eclipse the record-setting totals posted the previous year. As of May, 530,000 gotaways. Now, gotaways, I'm assuming is like, because when they come in, if they're caught, they're given this some sort of court date saying, because they declare these immigrants are declaring asylum or requesting asylum, and then the officials, no longer are they running from border security. They're running to border security. They're not running away. They don't have to anymore. And they have this script that they read off of requesting asylum. And, their information or whatever information they have, I don't know what kind of information these immigrants bring with them when they come across the border, but the officials take whatever information that they have and say, okay, well, here's your court date. We're going to process this, and this is your date that you come to court, and we'll, decide if your asylum request is valid. And where do these illegal immigrants go? Do you think that they show up to this court date? Do you think they put, they take out their calendar and mark into their calendar, all right, Thursday on the 22nd of September, I've got a date in the immigration court, and I'm going to go see if they process my request for asylum. No, that's not what happens. They disappear, and they're being shipped all over the country. They're being flown all over the country. They're being given housing somewhere in the country. They're being flown to New York, which, I think is actually kind of funny because New York is a very, very blue liberal state. And when I see these blue liberal states having to deal with the absolute results, the absolute real world reality, the result of their vote, I just love it. When you have to watch them scrape egg off of their face and panic, they can't just put this problem on the rest of the United States. I mean, it is, being put on the rest of the United States to a large degree. But now these elite white liberals, who have these bleeding hearts, because that's all that matters, is that we feel bad for these people that live in third world countries. That's all that matters. Empathy and sympathy and all these other things, these feelings. But when they have to deal with that, all of a sudden, feelings go out the window. All of a sudden, the only feeling that they are feeling is panic. And how can we get these people away from us as soon as possible? So that's the funny thing. The funny thing is these rich white liberals are so disconnected from reality that they don't know the actual result of these policies. And then when they have to deal with the actual result of the policies, they panic. And their sympathy and empathy and bleeding heart, all of a sudden, where does it go? That's interesting. Some might call them hypocrites. But 5,000 or 530,000 gotaways were reported, leaving 4 months to surpass the 600,000 tallied in fiscal year of 2022. Over half of the 2,345,600 notices to appear granted to migrants since Biden took office had been handed out since 2023. Receiving an NTA does not guarantee a speedy procedure. However, according to Syracuse University immigration databases, there is currently a backlog of 2.7 million pending immigration court cases. I mean, we already have a strained court system as it is, legal system as it is. And then we have millions. What is it? There was how many it's like 150,000 a month coming into the United States illegally. That's what it is. That's insane. And all of these people have to be processed. The resources needed to handle that amount, that number of people coming to the United States is absolutely insane. While the situation at the southern border has long been messy, those living further inland have typically not had to deal with the ramifications. This has changed as of late as a growing number of migrants find themselves in New York, California, and beyond, thanks to the policies put in place by federal and state officials. So yeah, now New York, California, they're having to deal with the result, the consequences of their actions. I mean, let's just put it how it is. This is the consequences of their actions. And it's like I said, it's not like people who are against illegal immigration it's a very, very small minority of people who are against illegal immigration are again just hate immigrants. That's not what most people think, how most people think. Listen, we have resources in our country. We have a system. We have a society. We have a culture. And when we have mass illegal immigration of people from other cultures, our culture gets overwhelmed. Our culture gets outnumbered. And the culture starts to change. It's no longer this culture that is, what do they say? A shining beacon on a hill, a shining beacon. Okay, I can't say it. A shining beacon on a hill. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Maybe because the shining beacon on a hill is slowly starting to dim out. But that's exactly what happens when you have millions of people from all over the world that come to a country. They start to dim out that shining beacon on a hill because the culture changes, the society changes, the economy changes, the demographics change, and what happens? America is no longer American anymore. That's the problem. Thanks to an agreement, or thanks to a Freedom of Information Act request submitted by the Center for Immigration Studies, however, it has been revealed that in addition to shuttling immigrants from the border inland, the Biden administration has been moving people directly into cities across the U.S. for their home countries via the Customs and Border Protection One app. Cubans, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, I can't say that, Haitians, and Colombians can organize flights to 43 destinations in the U.S., though they do have to pay for the ticket. Okay, so they have to pay for the ticket. Okay. Upon arrival, they are paroled into the country. The exact number of people who have chosen this route is unknown. However, between October 2022 and September 2023, 221,456 migrants from the aforementioned nations have their travel mode listed as air. Okay. So we have this massive, terrible problem of illegal immigration. Millions of people coming across the border, changing our culture in our society in ways that we still don't know yet. I mean, we see the results of it. You go online, you go on Twitter, Instagram, you see some of the results of this culture change, and it's not pretty, let me tell you. So what does the Biden administration do to not only just open up the borders policy-wise, but real world? Look at this. Look at this. Greg Abbott tweeted, and I'm not a fan of Greg Abbott. I think Greg Abbott is not doing enough, and he's not doing anything to stem this flow. I don't think Greg Abbott really cares. I think he's just another politician trying to get along. But he tweeted, Texas installed razor wire in Eagle Pass to stop illegal crossings. Today, the Biden administration cut that wire, opening the floodgates to illegal immigrants. I immediately deployed more Texas National Guards to repel illegal crossings and installed more razor wire. So, I mean, guys, this is crazy to me. Look at this. Look at this. So you have these officials who are just cutting this razor wire. I mean, this is a deterrence for people coming across the river, coming across that way. And they're just cutting it, saying, okay, here you go. Here, you can come across. No, you don't have to go back the other way. We'll cut it for you. From the plate. Look at this. They're just allowing them to come across. And they're pulling it out of the river. So we just have open river. If they don't respect the river as a border, they can just come across. They don't have to respect it. There's no sort of deterrence. There's no sort of barrier. This razor wire was supposed to be a barrier, some sort of barrier. And you have the very people who are supposed to be protecting our border coming to the rescue. And it's not even the rescue. These people were not in any danger. They were basically just trying to get across. They could have turned around, gone back to Mexico, but no, they didn't. But here's another one. Look at one of the largest mass illegal border crossings occurred this morning in Illegal Pass, Texas, with more than 2,200 people crossing. This happened right next to the port of entry as illegal immigrants continue to ignore the Biden's advice, don't come. So it's pretty incredible. Look at the number of people here. Just a massive number of people. This is in Eagle Pass, Texas. This is just one video. This is the people that are coming across the river. Look at this. It's just a solid line of people coming across the river. No deterrence. No saying, hey, no, you're going to have to go back the other way. It's just a free-for-all. It's open season. You don't have to be an American to be an American anymore. To live in America anymore. You don't have to be. I mean, imagine the people who are on the list to become a legitimate American citizen. Imagine people who have been on this list for years and years and years. When I was in college, I used to work for. I was an intern for Senator Ted Cruz, and I would work with different liaisons in his office, in his senatorial office, and one of those was the immigration liaison, and I would have to sift through some of these applications to become a citizen of the United States, and some of these people were on this list for 10, 15 years. Imagine being on that list, and you're someone who follows the rules. You're someone who wants to get into you want to get into the country legally. And then you look at what's going on right now, and people just are pouring across the border. You're like, wait, what was that for? Imagine the message that sends to people who are wanting to do things legally and correctly. You mean I waited all this time? I waited all these years to get into the United States, and all I had to do was walk across the border? That's all I had to do? I could have just walked across the border. They would have accepted me, and I just ignore their laws, and they don't do anything? Wait, that's all I had to do this whole time? Just more people pouring across the border. This is just insanity. It's just insanity. It's open. It's a free-for-all. No deterrence whatsoever. And here's a great video that I saw earlier this week. New Yorkers are mad, of course, because their city is being invaded by these illegal immigrants. And here's AOC in her infinite wisdom trying to talk about this situation, trying to be the level-headed woman that she is. And let's hear how the crowd reacts to her solutions.
Flowing into the city. Watch.
And that we are joining with the city and state administration. Yes, and ultimately I think that there are 3 points of consensus here that are very important in getting a solution to this issue. The first is that there is consensus here across geography and states on increased federal resources to cities and municipalities dealing with this issue.
Increase federal resources. No, hey, we need to close the border. No, we need increased federal resources. We need money.
Supporting themselves as soon as possible.
This is a money grab.
They are prevented from getting jobs. They are prevented from employment.
They are prevented from getting... How about you prevent them from coming into the country? How is this now all of a sudden our problem? They came here, so they come here, now it's our problem? No. Group up these people and send them back. I love how it's always, hey, we need money. We need federal money. We need taxpayer money. That's what we need to fix this problem. Throw money at the problem. Don't fix the problem. Throw money at the problem. That's always the solution. That's always the solution to these absolute degenerate politicians. They just want money, they want power, and they will ruin your city, your society, your town. They will ruin all of that to make sure that they stay in power and that they get this money. But that's all I have for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. If you could, please comment on this video. Let me know what you think about this situation. Do you think that there's ever going to be any policies or any sort of wall built, anything that's going to happen to stem the tide of this flow of illegal immigration? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like the video. Follow my page. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.